Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be exploring the world of financial literacy and wealth building.
All right.
And we'll be doing that by looking at excerpts from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Before You Quit Your Job,
Yeah.
two books by Robert Kiyosaki
Yeah,
that have been really influential in how people think about money.
definitely.
And, given your learner profile,
Uh,
we know that you're not just looking for like the basic budgeting tips and tricks.
right.
You want to really dig deeper
Yeah,
and uncover those aha moments, like those things that kind of shift your entire perspective on money.
absolutely.
So we'll be focusing on those actionable takeaways,
Yes,
those nuggets of wisdom you can apply to your own financial journey.
exactly.
And I think it's interesting because Kiyosaki, he doesn't just talk about money.
No, he doesn't.
He also often kind of touches on these broader life choices,
Mm-hmm.
like the decision to follow a conventional career path
Yeah.
or forge your own way.
That's right.
In fact, we'll even be tying in a poem later
Oh, cool.
that explores that very theme of choosing your path.
That's great.
But first, let's get into the heart of Kiyosaki's philosophy,
Okay.
the rich dad versus poor dad concept.
Yeah, the story itself is pretty compelling.
Yeah.
You know, Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures.
Right.
His biological father, who was highly educated,
Yeah.
but struggled financially.
Yeah.
And his friend's father,
Uh-huh.
the quote-unquote rich dad,
Right.
a self-made entrepreneur who taught him a completely different approach to money.
It makes you wonder, right? Like
Right.
about those lessons that we just kind of absorb from the people around us,
Yes,
even unintentionally.
absolutely.
And the key takeaway that I think Kiyosaki really emphasizes is that the rich don't work for money.
Yeah,
They have money work for them.
we do.
And it all boils down to understanding this
Mm.
fundamental difference between assets and liabilities.
Absolutely.
And, his definition is so simple,
Yeah,
yet profound. An asset puts money in my pocket.
that's it.
A liability takes money out of my pocket.
Simple.
It seems obvious, but it really challenges, I think, how most people think about their finances.
Yes, for sure.
It's not just about earning a paycheck.
Uh-huh.
It's about building a system where money flows to you,
Yeah,
even when you're not actively working.
right.
Think about it, like your house, for example.
Yeah,
It's typically considered an asset,
right.
but is it really putting money in your pocket?
Yeah, is it?
Or is it pulling money out through your mortgage, property taxes, maintenance?
Uh-huh, good point.
Okay, that's making me rethink some things.
And that's exactly what Kiyosaki wants us to do.
Yeah.
He uses these really vivid stories from his childhood to illustrate these concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the story where he works for Rich Dad for like a measly 10 cents an hour,
Oh, yeah.
dusting and stacking cans in a grocery store?
Right. Yeah, like you'd think he'd be
Right, yeah.
learning the ins and outs of the retail business. But that's not what Rich Dad was focused on.
Nope.
He wasn't teaching him a trade.
Yeah.
He was teaching him about spotting opportunities.
Right.
Thinking beyond the immediate paycheck.
Exactly.
And that money can be, quote unquote, invented
Yes.
by creating value and solving problems,
Absolutely.
not just trading time for dollars.
That's right.
So instead of getting stuck in that mindset of work hard, get paid,
Yeah.
Kiyosaki was learning to think about how to make money work for him.
Exactly.
It's almost like an entrepreneurial boot camp,
Yeah.
but like disguised as a boring summer job.
That's exactly what it is.
And that leads us to the next big idea.
Mhm.
Mind your own business.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily about becoming an entrepreneur overnight,
Right.
right? It's about building an asset column alongside your job,
Yeah.
gradually creating those multiple streams of income so you're not reliant on a single paycheck.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where people get tripped up because they hear mind your own business
Yeah.
and they think I need to quit my job tomorrow
Right.
and start a company.
That's not what he's saying at all.
But Kiyosaki, he argues that building an asset column should be this ongoing process,
It should. Yeah.
something you do in parallel
Yeah.
with your current work.
Yeah.
And he uses the example of Ray Kroc,
Oh.
the founder of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most people associate him with burgers and fries,
Right.
but his real wealth came from real estate. Really?
Yeah. He strategically bought the land underneath each McDonald's franchise,
Oh, wow.
understanding that owning those assets would generate long-term value.
So he wasn't just building a fast food empire. He was building a real estate portfolio at the same time.
That's right. That's what he was doing.
That's brilliant.
It is.
What other examples of assets does he give?
Businesses that don't require your constant presence.
Okay.
Stocks, bonds,
Yeah.
income-generating real estate, intellectual property like royalty, anything that puts money in your pocket,
Right.
whether through appreciation or income generation.
So it's not just about
It's not just about...
how much money you make.
That's right.
It's about what that money is doing for you.
Exactly.
Working for you.
Yeah.
It's not about looking rich.
No.
It's about having your money work hard enough that you don't have to.
That you don't have to.
You know, he argues that true luxury is the reward for investing in assets,
Yes.
not buying things on credit to impress others.
Exactly.
It's that old saying, you can be rich or you can look rich, but you can't be both.
Yep.
Now, we've talked about the core philosophy and building an asset column. But the big question is, how do we actually do that?
How do you do it?
And this is where financial intelligence comes in.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about being good with numbers then.
It's not just about being good with numbers.
Right.
It's about seeing opportunities that others miss. It's about understanding financial systems to your advantage. It's not just about being good at math. It's about thinking differently about money.
Okay, so for someone starting out,
Yeah.
what does cultivating financial intelligence even look like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, is it about reading every financial news article or meticulously tracking every penny?
I think it's more about training yourself to see the world through a different lens.
Okay.
You know, he shares the story of buying a house for $50,000
Wow.
that his neighbor bought for $100,000
Okay.
simply because he knew where to look for deals.
Interesting.
He also talks about creating $190,000 in assets with little money and low risk.
Wow.
He basically, invented money using his understanding of the market.
Okay, so how does someone starting out even begin to develop that kind of financial intelligence?
Well, he emphasizes the importance of learning and mastering financial formulas,
Okay.
like calculating return on investment, understanding how compounding works. He believes anyone can learn these formulas, regardless of their background.
Okay.
But it's not just about the technical stuff.
Right.
He also talks a lot about overcoming those mental barriers that hold people back.
And I think that's so important because you can have all the knowledge and tools in the world, but if you're held back by fear or limiting beliefs, it's hard to take action.
Exactly.
And he identifies fear, cynicism, and laziness as major roadblocks.
They are.
And he talks about the, fear of fixing toilets.
Yeah.
When it comes to real estate, which is humorous.
It is.
But it speaks to this larger fear of taking on challenges.
That's right.
And stepping outside our comfort zones.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Right? There's that initial excitement about a new opportunity.
Yes.
And then those doubts creep in. Like, what if I fail? What if I make a mistake?
Right.
What if I don't know what I'm doing?
What if?
And he addresses that chicken little thinking.
Yeah.
Constantly worrying about things going wrong and missing out on opportunities because of that negative outlook.
Yes.
And he contrasts this with the mindset of savvy investors who see opportunity in times of fear.
That's it.
Recognizing that market downturns often present the best buying opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's about shifting your perspective.
It is.
Seeing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than reasons to give up.
That's right.
But what about that laziness roadblock? I think we all struggle with procrastination or feeling overwhelmed sometimes.
We do.
And Kiyosaki, he believes that laziness can be overcome by tapping into your desire.
Yes.
He uses the word greed in a positive sense.
Yeah.
That burning desire to achieve financial freedom and create a better life for yourself.
Yes.
So it's about getting clear on your why.
It is.
Like, why do you want to achieve financial freedom?
Yeah.
What are your dreams?
That's right.
What are your aspirations?
Right.
What are you working towards?
That's it.
What are you running towards? Not just running away from.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Kiyosaki, he emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge and mentorship along the way.
He does.
He's a big believer in continuous learning.
Yes.
Even if it means feeling out of your league at times. He talks about taking advanced investment classes even though he felt intimidated, constantly pushing himself to learn new things.
Exactly.
And remember that anecdote about Warren Buffett? He talks about gaining incredible insights just from repeatedly listening to a 5-minute segment of a recording.
Yeah.
It highlights the power of focus.
It does.
And extracting wisdom
Right.
from even the smallest bits of information.
Yeah.
And it shows that mentorship doesn't always have to be a formal relationship.
Absolutely.
You can learn from anyone who has achieved what you aspire to, whether it's through observing their actions or studying their words.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And he also stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you, learning from both successful and struggling individuals.
Right.
Like, there's a valuable lesson to be learned from everyone's experience.
There is.
And that makes me think of the poem you mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
About choosing paths.
Yeah.
It seems like Kiyosaki's journey and the lessons he shares are all about choosing a less conventional path.
Yeah.
One that leads to financial freedom.
It is.
So let's explore that connection further.
You're right.
Because that poem, it really speaks to those moments in life where we stand at a crossroads. Right? Facing decisions that could lead us down very different paths.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to financial freedom, those diverging paths could represent the choice between working for money and having money work for you.
Exactly.
One path might be that traditional route. Get a job, save money, hope for a comfortable retirement.
Yeah.
The other might be the path of entrepreneurship, investing, building assets that generate passive income.
That's right.
It's about creating your own financial destiny.
It is.
Not just relying on systems that might not have your best interests at heart.
Right.
Like those golden opportunities Rich Dad was always talking about.
Exactly.
But even if you have the best mentor in the world, it's still up to you to take action.
It is. That's the key.
Kiyosaki encourages readers to take that first step towards financial freedom.
Yeah.
He talks about starting small, like taking a weekend course on real estate or investing a small amount of money.
Right.
It's about building momentum and proving to yourself that you're capable of creating change.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of something he said about mastering skills, particularly selling and marketing.
Yeah.
He believes these are essential in any field, not just business.
He's right.
He's right. Think about it. Whether you're pitching an idea to your boss, negotiating a salary, or even just trying to convince your friend to see a certain movie, those are all forms of selling.
Absolutely.
And he emphasizes the importance of teaching and giving back, too. Right?
He does, yeah.
He believes in creating a cycle of abundance, sharing your knowledge and resources with others.
Right.
He talks about the concept of tithing, the idea that you give first to receive.
Yes.
It's almost like investing in the universe, putting good energy out there, trusting that it will come back to you.
Right.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Financial literacy, building assets, overcoming mental barriers, seeking knowledge. It's a lot to take in. But it's clear that Kiyosaki's approach to wealth building is about so much more than just money.
It is.
It's about mindset, continuous learning, taking control of your financial destiny.
That's right.
But how does all of this translate into actionable steps?
Yeah.
Like, what are some concrete things our listener can do to start applying these principles? I guess that's what we'll be exploring in part 2.
Let's do it. You're right. It can feel a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
He throws a lot of big ideas at you.
Yeah.
But he also kind of sprinkles in these really compelling stories and examples that bring those concepts to life.
Right. And it's the stories that I think make the book so engaging.
Yeah.
You know? You remember them long after you finished reading.
You do, yeah.
Like that toothpaste tube story from chapter 1.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the classic kid entrepreneur tale.
Yeah, 9-year-old Kiyosaki and his friend Mike, they're determined to make money. So they collect empty toothpaste tubes from their neighbors and start like this whole manufacturing operation in Kiyosaki's driveway. They're melting and molding the toothpaste using like hibachi grill and milk cartons.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
What a mess.
I can just picture it.
Just a sticky mess.
And then his dad, bless his heart, gently informs them.
Like, probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, that it's probably not legal to be making toothpaste without, a license and all that.
Right.
But Rich Dad comes in with this amazing response.
Right.
Instead of like scolding them for their failed business venture, he praises their initiative and encourages them to keep going.
Yeah, he tells them, you're only poor if you give up.
Right.
The most important thing is that you did something. Most people only talk and dream of getting rich. You've done something.
And I'm very proud of the two of you.
I will say it again. Keep going. Don't quit.
Powerful stuff. Yeah, it's not about avoiding failure. It's about having the courage to try, to experiment, to learn from your mistakes.
And then there's that story where Kiyosaki, he works for Rich Dad for 3 weeks, earning a measly 10 cents an hour, dusting and stacking cans.
Right.
It's the ultimate test of patience.
It is.
Right. He's frustrated, ready to quit. But Rich Dad, he explains that he's not just teaching him about work ethic.
Right.
He's teaching him about financial literacy.
Yeah.
He's making him confront his own beliefs about money.
Absolutely.
Remember what he tells him. I'm glad you got angry about working for 10 cents an hour. If you hadn't gotten angry and had simply accepted it, I would have to tell you that I could not teach you. You see, true learning takes energy, passion, and a burning desire. Anger is a big part of that formula.
Yeah.
For passion is anger and love combined.
It's true.
He's basically saying that being comfortable, complacent, just going through the motions,
right,
that won't lead you to financial freedom.
It won't.
You need that fire in your belly, that drive to change your circumstances,
right,
and to really push him.
Yeah.
Rich Dad tells Kiyosaki that he'll be working for free for the next 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Kiyosaki's understandably shocked.
Yeah.
But Rich Dad explains that he's creating a situation where Kiyosaki will be forced to think differently about money, to find ways to make it work for him.
That's right.
And that leads to the comic book library.
Yeah.
Which is such a brilliant example of kid entrepreneur
I know, right?
Ingenuity.
Yeah, they collect discarded comic books.
Yeah.
They create a lending library in Mike's basement.
Yeah.
Charging their friends a small fee to read them.
Right. Just brilliant.
It's simple but effective.
Yeah.
Illustration of passive income.
Yeah.
You know, they're creating a system that generates money. Yeah.
Even when they're not actively working.
And the best part is, they learn such a valuable lesson from the experience. Like Kiyosaki puts it, we learned to make money work for us. By not getting paid for our work at the store, we were forced to use our imaginations to identify an opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
By starting our own business, the comic book library, we were in control of our own finances, not dependent on an employer.
Right.
The best part was that our business generated money for us, even when we weren't physically there. Our money worked for us.
I love that.
Right.
So good.
These early lessons, they really lay the foundation.
They do.
For Kiyosaki's future success as an entrepreneur and an investor.
Yeah.
And they highlight the importance of starting small, taking action, learning by doing, understanding that money can work for you.
Right.
Instead of the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay, so starting small, even with something like a comic book library, can lead to bigger things. It can.
But what about those who are a bit older?
Yeah.
Maybe already working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, good question.
How can they start building their asset column?
Well, you know, Kiyosaki, he doesn't sugarcoat things.
Right.
He acknowledges that most people will have a job at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
It's not about demonizing work.
No.
But about understanding that a job should be a stepping stone.
Okay.
Not a life sentence.
So it's not necessarily about quitting your job tomorrow.
Right.
It's about having a long-term vision.
Exactly. And in chapter 5, he shares a story about how he, quote unquote, invented money using a real estate strategy during a depressed market.
Okay.
It's a great example of how financial intelligence can create wealth, even in challenging economic times.
So instead of panicking when the market takes a downturn, he sees it as an opportunity.
He does. Right.
He talks about finding houses selling for like significantly below market value due to foreclosures and distressed sellers.
Yep.
And he would buy these houses with very little money down.
Right.
Often using like creative financing strategies.
Yeah.
He'd make minor repairs and improvements.
Yep.
And then quickly resell the houses for a profit.
Right.
Using the proceeds to buy more properties.
Yeah, that's smart.
So he was essentially leveraging the power of the market to his advantage.
He was.
But how can someone with a regular job who maybe hasn't mastered the art of real estate investing apply that same principle?
Well, it's about, you know, finding opportunities within your means.
Okay.
Maybe it's starting a side hustle that aligns with your passions or learning about investing in dividend-paying stocks
Bro.
or exploring the world of online business.
Right.
The key is to take action.
Okay.
Even if it's small.
And to keep learning.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki talks about the importance of constantly expanding your knowledge and skills. He's a big advocate for mentorship.
Yeah.
And one of his stories really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about gaining incredible insights from Warren Buffett.
Really?
Not by attending a seminar or reading a book, but by repeatedly listening to a 5-minute segment of a recording.
Wow.
It's a reminder that mentorship can come from these unexpected places.
Yeah.
And that sometimes the most profound lessons come in these small packages.
They do.
And that focus,
right,
that dedication to extracting wisdom from even the smallest details is key to developing financial intelligence.
It is.
Kiyosaki, he emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you, learning from both those who have succeeded and those who have struggled.
Yes, good point.
It's about recognizing that everyone has something to teach you.
Absolutely.
And that there's value in both success and failure.
That's right.
But even with the best mentors and support systems, there are still those internal barriers we have to overcome.
There are, yeah. He talks about how fear, cynicism, and laziness can sabotage our financial goals. So let's start with fear.
Okay.
You know, Kiyosaki, he argues that fear is natural, but we can't let it control our actions.
Right.
Remember his, humorous fear of fixing toilets example?
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to real estate?
Yeah.
It represents that larger fear
Yeah.
of stepping outside our comfort zones.
And it's so relatable.
It is.
Right? We all have those what ifs
We do.
that hold us back.
Yeah.
What if I fail?
Right.
What if I make a mistake? What if I'm not good enough?
What if? What if?
Exactly. And Kiyosaki encourages us
Yeah.
to confront those fears head on. To recognize that fear is often based on irrational thoughts and beliefs. And it's about taking action despite the fear, because that's where growth happens.
Exactly.
But what about cynicism? That feeling that the system is rigged, that the odds are stacked against us,
Right.
that it's just too hard to get ahead.
Right.
Kiyosaki, he calls it chicken little thinking, always worrying that the sky is falling.
Yeah.
And he contrasts that with the mindset of savvy investors who see opportunities in times of uncertainty.
Right.
They recognize that. Like market downturns often present the best buying opportunities.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's about
It's true.
reframing our perspective,
Yeah.
seeing challenges as opportunities for growth,
Yes.
not reasons to give up.
That's it.
But how do you combat that feeling of laziness, that lack of motivation to even get started?
Right.
I think we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
Kiyosaki, he believes that laziness can be overcome by harnessing desire.
Yeah, he calls it greed
Right.
in the positive sense.
Yeah.
That burning desire to achieve financial freedom and build a better life.
It's like finding your why.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you want to achieve financial freedom?
That's right.
What are your dreams? What are your aspirations?
Yeah,
What are you working towards?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Because when you have a strong why,
Yeah.
it fuels your motivation.
Right.
And it helps you overcome those inevitable setbacks.
So we need to dig deep and uncover that driving force within us.
We do.
But even with a clear why
Right.
and a burning desire, there's still that learning curve. Like, where do you even begin?
Where do you start? Well, he breaks it down
Okay.
in chapter 8 of Before You Quit Your Job.
Okay.
He outlines 10 steps
Okay.
to awaken your financial genius,
Okay.
which is, I think, a fantastic framework for anyone wanting to, gain control of their finances.
Yeah.
Step-by-step guide for financial empowerment.
Yeah. Can you walk us through a few of those steps?
Yeah. What's the first step?
Well, the first step is all about finding your why,
Oh, okay.
which we just discussed.
Right?
But he takes it a step further.
Oh, okay.
He talks about having a strong reason or purpose for wanting to be rich. You know, what are those wants and don't wants that fuel your motivation?
It's about being crystal clear on what you're working towards, right?
That's right.
And how financial freedom will enable you to live the life you want.
That's right.
Okay, what's the next step?
Step 2 is about choosing what you learn carefully.
Okay.
He says, you become what you study.
Oh, that's good.
I know, right?
It's a great reminder to be mindful of the information we consume, the skills we develop,
Yeah,
the company we keep.
absolutely.
Okay, what about step 3?
Step 3 focuses on choosing your friends wisely.
Kiyosaki is a firm believer in the power of association.
Right.
Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you,
Yeah.
and support your goals.
And be wary of those who
Yeah.
constantly focus on negativity.
Right, those quote-unquote poor or frightened people, as he calls them,
Yeah.
who always have a reason why something won't work.
Okay, so step 4.
Step 4 emphasizes mastering a formula
Mm-hmm.
and then learning a new one. It's about continuous learning,
Right.
always seeking new ways to create value and generate income.
He talks about becoming a type 2 investor, someone who creates investments rather than just buying, pre-packaged ones. What other gems does he offer?
Okay, well, step 5 is all about learning to manage risk.
Okay.
Kiyosaki, he believes that taking calculated risks is essential for wealth building.
Right.
But it's about understanding and managing those risks effectively.
So he encourages people to develop their financial intelligence so they can make informed decisions.
Right.
And minimize losses.
Yeah.
And, of course, to accept that failure is part of the process. Every successful investor has experienced losses and setbacks.
Absolutely.
Along the way.
As Kiyosaki puts it, winning means being unafraid to lose.
Yeah, it's about having the courage to take action, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
It does.
So steps 1 through 5 really lay the groundwork for building a solid financial foundation, both mentally and strategically.
It does.
But what about the remaining steps?
Yeah.
What other insights does Kiyosaki offer? Yeah, it sounds like steps 6 through 10 kind of get into more the practical aspects of wealth building, like, how to find and leverage the right resources and expertise.
He talks about things like paying your advisors well. It's about recognizing that good advice is valuable and that investing in expert guidance can pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
He also mentions the importance of being what he calls an Indian giver.
Now, that sounds a bit provocative.
It does.
What does he mean by that?
Well, he's not talking about literally taking back gifts.
Okay.
He's using it metaphorically to describe a strategy of investing where you aim to recoup your initial investment quickly.
So it's about being strategic and savvy with your investments.
That's right.
Making sure you're not just throwing money away.
Exactly. And then in step 10, he circles back to the importance of teaching what you learn.
Okay.
He believes that teaching is one of the most rewarding things you can do, and that it reinforces your own understanding of a concept.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a great way to give back and contribute to the success of others.
So it's about sharing the wealth.
It is.
Both literally and figuratively. Absolutely.
Now I have to ask, what about that poem we talked about earlier? How does that tie into
Good question.
everything we've been discussing?
Remember how we were talking about those diverging paths? The choice between working for money and having money work for you?
Right.
Well, that poem really captures that sense of being at a crossroads.
Yeah.
The speaker in the poem is standing in a wood, faced with two paths, and has to decide which one to take.
It's like those moments in life.
It is.
Where we have to make a choice that will determine the course of our future. And in the context of financial freedom, that choice might be between staying on the traditional path, working a 9 to 5, saving diligently, hoping for a comfortable retirement, or venturing onto a less conventional path, one that involves entrepreneurship, investing, creating multiple streams of income. And the poem speaks to
that feeling of wondering, what if, about the path not taken. It acknowledges that every choice we make closes off other possibilities. So in the context of finances, that what if might sound like, what if I had invested in real estate instead of buying a new car?
Right, exactly.
Or what if I had started my own business instead of staying in this job I hate? It's a powerful reminder.
It is.
That our choices have consequences.
They do.
And those consequences shape our financial future.
They do.
But it's not about dwelling on past choices. It's about recognizing that we always have the power
That's right.
to make new choices, to course correct,
Mm-hmm.
to forge our own path.
Exactly. And I think that's
Yeah.
what Kiyosaki is ultimately trying to convey
Mm-hmm.
in both Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Yeah.
and Before You Quit Your Job.
Right.
He's providing a roadmap,
Yeah.
a set of tools and principles to help us navigate the world of money.
Mm-hmm.
But he also emphasizes that the journey is ultimately up to us.
So it's not about blindly following Kiyosaki's
Right.
advice.
No.
It's about using it as a framework for making our own informed decision.
Exactly. He's challenging us to question conventional wisdom,
Yeah.
to think differently about money, to take ownership of our financial destiny.
And to be brave enough to take that first step, even if it's scary,
Yeah.
even if we're not sure
Right.
where it will lead.
Absolutely. Financial freedom is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will be bumps in the road, detours, and wrong turns. But as long as we keep learning, keep growing,
Yeah.
and keep moving forward,
Right.
we're on the right track.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so exciting.
It is.
It's not just about absorbing information.
Right.
It's about using that information to empower ourselves, to create the life we want, to achieve financial freedom.
And as Kiyosaki reminds us, the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way.
That's a great quote to end on.
It is.
It's a reminder that achieving financial freedom isn't just about mastering spreadsheets or memorizing formulas. It's about having the courage to dream big, to persevere through challenges, and to never stop learning and growing.
That's right.
So, dear listener, we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Before You Quit Your Job.
Definitely.
What resonates with you most?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What insights will you apply to your own financial journey?
Right, what's your next step?
And if you could ask Robert Kiyosaki one question,
Yeah.
what would it be? Remember, the path to financial freedom starts with a single step.
It does.
Take that step today and watch your world transform, Alex.